In this alternate history, the United States doesn't survive a single arrest. The day federal agents jail an election official on camera is the day the country stops agreeing on who won.
This story is fictional. It's based on real events, but everything beyond the known facts is speculation. Our goal is to explore an alternate timeline, not to rewrite history, but to imagine what might have been.
In July of 2026, the Trump administration escalated a campaign that had been building for months. In a primetime address, the president revived claims about the integrity of American elections, claims that investigators, courts, and even his own officials had repeatedly failed to back up with a single document. Then came the enforcement. Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin issued a warning to local election officials across the country. Turn over your voter data or face jail time. This was not a rumor or a leaked memo. It was federal pressure applied directly to the people who count the votes. County clerks, city registrars, the ordinary Americans holding places out of church basements and high school gyms. For a moment, the country held its breath. Some officials complied, others refused, citing state law. The documents backing the president's claims still didn't exist. But the threat did, and a threat, once made, has to be answered. But what if the standoff hadn't stayed a standoff? What if, in one contested state, the administration decided to make an example, and a governor decided to make a stand? Imagine it begins in a single county. An election director, a woman who has run clean for 20 years, refuses to hand over the personal data of every registered voter in her jurisdiction. She says state law forbids it. Federal agents arrive at her office on a Tuesday morning and arrest her in front of her staff. The video is on every phone in America by lunchtime. The first domino falls fast. The governor of that state calls the arrest an illegal federal seizure of the electoral process and orders the state police to protect election offices. Now you have federal agents and state troopers standing in the same parking lots on opposite sides, both lawful authority. Other governors pick sides within hours. Some pledge their voter rolls to Washington immediately. Others slam the door and dare the federal government to break it down. The country splits along a line that was already there, just underneath the surface. 20-some states shield their election systems. The rest fall in behind the administration. Both sides insist they are the ones protecting democracy. And with a midterm election just months away, the fight is no longer about a single county. It's about who gets to certify the vote in November. There are no dramatic explosions. It's paperwork and injunctions and armed men who don't know who to obey. Federal courts issue rulings. The administration ignores the ones it doesn't like. A Supreme Court order comes down telling the executive branch to stand down, and the White House questions the court's authority to interfere in what it calls a national security matter. That single sentence, a president openly defying the Supreme Court, is the moment the old rules stop working. Markets read it instantly. When investors lose faith that America has a functioning rule of law, they don't wait for confirmation. The stock market drops hard in a single session. The dollar wobbles. Foreign holders of American debt start quietly selling, interest rates jump, and ordinary people watch their retirement accounts shrink and pull cash from banks. The runs begin in the states where trust has already collapsed. Then the midterms arrive, and there is no agreed way to run them. In compliant states, elections proceed under federal supervision. In resisting states, they run their own way and refuse to share results with Washington. When the counting ends, the administration declares the resisting states' results invalid, fraudulent, unverifiable, exactly the fraud the president warned about. Those states declare their own results, the only legitimate ones. America now has two competing versions of who won Congress. Governing becomes impossible. A Congress seated under one set of rules is rejected as illegitimate by half the country. Federal agencies get contradictory orders. Soldiers and National Guard troops are told to obey different chains of command depending on which governor and which president they believe. In a handful of cities, Protests meet checkpoints, and somewhere a nervous 19-year-old with a rifle makes a decision that can't be taken back. The first deaths turn arguments into grievances that no court can settle. The economy doesn't crash all at once. It grinds down. Supply chains that cross state lines seize up when states stop recognizing federal shipping and tax authority. Trucks are turned back at borders that are meant to be borders. Food gets expensive. Fuel runs scarce in the places that lost the logistics fight. The federal government, starved of tax revenue from resisting states, starts missing payments. Social security checks arrive late, then not at all in some regions. And millions of retirees who never cared about any of this discover that the fight over voter data has reached their mailbox. Abroad, America's rivals don't need to fire a shot. They just wait. Allies who relied on American guarantees start making other arrangements. Adversaries move on territory they were never brave enough to touch before, because the superpower that once would have answered is busy arguing with itself about who its own president is. The chain reaction stops only when there is nothing left to break. The United States does not fall in a single day, and there is no clean surrender. Instead, it hollows out. A national government that commands loyalty in some states and contempt in others. Elections that half the country will never again believe. A currency the world no longer trusts. Neighbors who used to disagree about politics, now separated by armed lines and a shared certainty that the other side stole the country. The thing that held it all together was never the army or the economy. It was the shared belief that when the votes were counted, everyone would accept the answer. That belief was a document too, and once it was gone, no one could produce another one to replace it.
In this world, history went one way, but here, we ask what could have happened. If you want more alternate timelines and government what-ifs, subscribe, comment your theory, and stay tuned. This is State of What If.